It is really tough to use a tool if we don't know that that tool exists. In this nugget, I wanted to share with you some additional resources that you can use to assist you in getting ready for successful certification with VMware Data Center Virtualization. For individuals who want to pursue certification, there are some really great resources that you need to be aware of. One is the site mylearn.vmware.com. You're going to want to log on, set up your free account if you don't have one already, and that's where you could go to see all the prerequisites and requirements regarding their certification programs. And in addition to the online and PDF docs that we've already touched on in this course, there's also some documentation specific to certification that is extremely useful. I'll point that out to you in just a moment. And also, there is going to be a benefit for those who are pursuing certification if you have lots of hands-on practice or real-world experience, because if a multiple choice question comes up in an exam environment and it's kind of wacky, but based on your knowledge and how you've worked with the systems, there's like 2 or 3 that you can rule out as bad answers, that's going to help a lot with some of those trickier questions coming out of left field. So currently I've logged on with my account at mylearn.vmware.com, and I've clicked on the VMware certification link. And then it lists the various tracks regarding certification. So if we click on the link for Data Center Virtualization, here it'll list the associate, professional, and advanced level certifications that VMware offers for individuals to get. Also here it's going to list the requirements. For example, if we click on the VCP 6.5-DCV, on this page it has a Frequently Asked Questions tab right here. It also has a tab for new candidates and existing candidates. So an individual who's already certified, for example, as a VCP in Data Center Virtualization for version 6, if we expand Path 1 here, all that person needs to do is take the Data Center Virtualization Delta exam. On the other hand, someone who's brand new to certification, if we click on the New Candidate Requirement tab, and we look at Path 1 here by expanding it, and we'll scroll up just a little bit, they're recommending experience. They're requiring 1 or more training courses from an authorized VMware training partner, where you invest a few $1,000s for a 1-week class and you get the official curriculum and so forth, which they do require for someone who is brand new to the professional level certifications at VMware. And then there's 2 exams they want you to pass, a Foundations exam as well as the Data Center Virtualization exam. And if we click on one of the links here for one of those exams, which we'll do for the Data Center Virtualization exam, it takes us to the details for that exam, including the exam number, and then you can proceed to go ahead and register for it. Now, they aren't going to allow you to register for an exam unless you've met the prerequisites. So if we were to go back a page and back to Path 1 and click on Item 2 here, Required Training Courses, it's giving us here a list of the VMware authorized courses. So here in the note it says any one of these will fulfill the training requirements. And if they change any of that, of course, they'll update the website to reflect that. So mylearn.vmware.com is the place to go for the latest and greatest information regarding these certification requirements from VMware. So we'll close that. And if we click on one of the exams again, for example, the vSphere 6.5 Foundations exam, and we scroll up a little bit, there's a link right here to download the exam guide. It's an incredible resource. So if you download the exam guide, you'll have the latest and greatest version as of the moment you download it from their website. Let me give you a peek at how useful the exam guide that you download from VMware.com can be. So for the benefit of convenience in the hands-on lab here on DCNUG on the desktop, I have a copy of the exam prep guides from VMware for the Data Center exam, which is 2v0-622, as well as the Delta exam 2v0-622D. And again, you'd want to get your own latest and greatest versions of these documents from that download link that we just looked at a moment ago at mylearn.vmware.com. So if we opened up one of these exam guides, let's go ahead and grab the 622. And it's opening the .pdf here in Chrome on the lab computer simply because I don't have a different PDF reader like Adobe Acrobat installed. So this is the exam preparation guide. As new versions come out, you'll get that latest one from VMware site. And if we scroll down a little bit in this guide, it's got a table of contents, the purpose of the exam, the intended audience. And here in section 2, they're listing a laundry list of objectives that they may cover in their certification exams. And they're sorted by section and objective. And it is pretty daunting, the number of topics that they have here. There's a lot of content that they could be asking us questions on in a certification exam. So there's currently 10 sections, which is a boatload. So then we have this part called part number 3, which is tools and references, which can be used to help prepare for the certification exam. They're also stating that all the hyperlinks that they're providing are accurate as of the time they publish this document. And that's another great reason that we'd want to pull the latest and greatest version of this exam prep document from VMware site to make sure we're looking at the latest and greatest information. So for example, in the blueprint, let's say we're looking at section 1.2, What this column is showing us is the related documentation sets where we can go to find additional information or documentation about those topics. So in section 1.2, this document, and this document, based on these check marks, are all relevant for section 1.2. And case in point, let's say we were looking at modifying the default expiry time based on an objective in section 1.2. Well, what we could do is we could go ahead and just click on this hyperlink right here, and it would take us to that documentation. So let's do it. We'll go ahead and click on Modify Default Expiry Time. And actually what I meant to do, let me go ahead and use the back button here, and I'll page down to where we were again. There we go. What I intended to do is right click and then open that in a new tab so I can go right back to this document without losing my place. So if I open that in a new tab, it takes us to documentation regarding how to modify the default expiry time for the VPX user account. And then right here it talks about the VPX user account that vCenter server creates on each of the ESXi hosts that it's managing. And the password expires every 30 days. And if you want to change it, here's the parameter in the advanced settings that we could use to change it. And the list goes on. If we go back to the exam prep document and scroll down a little bit, there's another table that continues on. And sometimes it's referring us, for example, in here in 7.4, it's referring us to a larger set of documentation. Or other times it's taking us to more specific documents regarding the VPX user as an example. So this is an incredible resource that I wanted to point you to that you could use as you help prepare for your certification. And another tip that I want to share with you that's helped me quite a bit is to go ahead and have a bookmark for the online documentation that I use all the time. So I have the PDFs locally, and I also have bookmarks regarding, for example, vSphere 6.5. Another tip that people have found very helpful is to have bookmarks as well. So by setting a bookmark to some of your favorite documentation landing pages, it makes it that much easier to get right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close Chrome, which is providing our PDF viewing. And I want to share with you one other document regarding additional notes regarding 6.5. And it's right here on the desktop of DCNUG if you want to look at it here in the lab. So if we open up the additional notes regarding 6.5, it's also a PDF. It's going to open it here in a browser for us. It's only 5 pages long, and what I recommend and encourage you to do if you're pursuing certification is just peruse these, take a few minutes someday, read through them. And if you want to learn more information about those, you can go ahead and simply use the online docs or the PDF docs, all from VMware.com. And again, I would encourage you to read through this list at a bare minimum, and then anything that piques your interest, of course, you can go ahead and do a deeper dive in the online documentation. So that's here for you as a resource on the desktop of DCNUG for this hands-on lab associated with this nugget. So armed with some of those additional tools, I wish you the best of success in your personal and business life, and I look forward to seeing you in a future set of CBT Nuggets. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.